Shana Tova, everyone. So there's a story told in the Hasidic tradition of a rabbi, he was known as the Tifereth Rabbi, who was so popular and so wise and charismatic that he was deemed an enemy of the Tsar and decided for his own safety to move from Odessa to Riga, Latvia. He missed his community, and one day, much to his joy, he received word that 2 of his former students had arrived in town, and his assistants set up meetings with each. When the first arrived, the rabbi asked his former students, "So, how are things going for the Jews in Odessa?" His student was ecstatic. "Our study hall is filled with the sounds of prayer and study. And while there are many of the community who are not with us, we are making great progress, and things are improving all of the time." So the rabbi took out a 10-ruble coin and handed it to him and thanked him for his report. Then the second student came in. "Nu," asked the rabbi, "how are things back home?" "Rabbi," said the young man, I have to be honest with you. Odessa is not such a great place to be a Jew these days. The authorities are after us. Attendance is low. People are more interested in local culture and entertainment. Spiritually speaking, it's a very dark place." The rabbi thanked him and handed him a 1-ruble coin. Second student realizes that he had received less than his friend, asked, "Rabbi, why should I be punished for being honest, while my friend painted such an over-rosy picture of our community?" And the rabbi looked at the second student in the eye and said, "Do you think I really need for you to tell me what's happening in Odessa? Don't you even realize that there are 2 Odessas? What I wanted to find out was, which one are you living in? What I really wanted to know is, what's going on with you?" So here we are on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, a time when we shut out the world. With another year past, as we ask ourselves, "Nu, what's going on? Which world are we living in these days?" This is our time, the designated Jewish time, to reflect upon life's reality that we're not going to live forever, an average of 32,000 days in our lifetime, that our time on earth is limited. So where are we headed? Who are we? Where are we? And what is the meaning of it all? It's a time to let go of what went wrong, with an opportunity to reboot, and also to revisit the things that we did right and do a lot more of that. On this day, we gather as the Torah instructs to listen to the sound of the shofar. It's our spiritual alarm clock. And as our tradition encourages us to answer those 3 questions, which we forget or we block out the rest of the year. Who are we? Where are we? And how exactly does this life thing work? So I looked online the other day to find out how many websites there are in the world. There are currently 1.2 billion websites, but the good news is only 194 million are active. And as mid-2025 goes by, there were more than 4.52 million podcasts worldwide, with 487,200 new shows launched in just the past 3 months. Surprised? And in the US alone, 55% of the population, around 158 million, listen to a podcast on a regular basis. The internet and other media are literally saturated with every possible, imaginable point of view. Literally, you can find endless podcasts or posts and programs to support thousands of point of views, and we know them well. Blame sites, anti-Semitic podcasts, conspiracy theories. No matter what you believe or worry about, search, and you'll find thousands who agree with you. And so many log off thinking, this is how it really is. No wonder we often feel lost and confused. And who can we rely on for the truth? So I want to tell you something. Sometimes at the end of my day, for a few minutes, I log on to YouTube at the end of the day, 5:30, 6 o'clock. And there, as I tidy my desk and prepare for the next day, I listen to old songs. Sometimes I watch Britain or America Has Talent. And there I often see forgotten people and the homeless and everyday folks shining, and their lives are forever changed. But if you haven't noticed, YouTube has also started posting TikTok and other short videos. And one day last week, I began clicking and clicking and clicking. The first video was of someone picking the wallet from the purse of a struggling senior as she carefully assembled the few groceries that she could afford. And the person filled her wallet and then replaced it in her purse with 5 $50 bills. Then the senior pulled out her wallet at the cash to pay. She realized that somehow she'd acquired an extra $250, and she looked around for some explanation, but there wasn't any. And she lifted her hands to heaven, and she began to cry. That was followed by somebody handing a rose to someone, sobbing on a park bench, with a rolled-up note, "A bad day does not equal a bad life." Helping a physically challenged youth get on and off an elevator, randomly filling up somebody's gas tank as that person sat in the front seat of her car counting her quarters. And as I left the synagogue, I was filled with just a tinge of hope that maybe TikTok, and for that matter, the world, is not as bad as it often seems. So I called my daughter over there on the way home to share. I said, "Jessie, I may have had TikTok all wrong. There's a lot of kindness out there." And she paused for a moment and she replied, "Dad, Dad, Dad. Let me teach you about algorithms. You're a rabbi. You're also my father. It's your job. It's who you are. To seek out positive stories and readings from the Torah and other places and share them." She said, "The internet is mirroring you because it wants to sell you things, Dad. You put kind in and you get kind out, and the opposite is true." And I sighed and I thought of the Talmudic saying from the book of Yom Kippur, which says, "Haderech she'adam lelech molichim oto." In the way that a person wants to go, that person is led. And I thought of the Hasidic rabbi who posed the same question to those two students. Which world are we living in? For indeed these days, whatever we are searching for, the world will follow us. Or updated, we search for the world we choose to live in. And so it is every year on Rosh Hashanah within this quiet and safe space. This is where we leave the virtual world behind and embrace the concept of teshuvah, returning to who we really are. We are by nature kind and optimistic. We are not hungry bodies with a soul, but rather sacred souls surrounded by a body. That maybe to update Rosh Hashanah's timeless message, we need on this day to begin creating a new algorithm for ourselves. Rosh Hashanah beckons us to reassess, to pause the physical world and pay attention to our soul journey, to identify one thing that we can change, one reoccurring habit or attitude, along with one good thing that we did last year, and we need to do more of that. There is a teaching in the Talmud which focuses on a phrase, as one rabbi seeks to heal another. And Rabbi Yochanan says, "Are your afflictions dear to you?" It's an amazing question, which upon further reflection asks, are we proud of our stubbornness, our lack of patience? We call it realism. Is this as far on the road to self-improvement that we can go? Are we happy with that grudge, especially towards that person who may not or cannot change? The late Rabbi Harold Kirshner once wrote, "Forgiveness is not a matter of exonerating people who have hurt you. They may not deserve exoneration. Forgiveness means cleansing your soul of the bitterness of what might have been, of what should have been, and what didn't have to happen." Or as Mark Twain once wrote, Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than anything on which it is poured. That letting go is not an act of failure or that we have lost some fictitious battle. Rather, we are creating more room for happiness. So we ask today, what kind of world are we really searching for? As Jesse wrote me that day, Daddy, algorithms aren't magic. They just mirror what you search, click, and linger on. And if you chase negativity, you'll find it. And if you seek out kindness and compassion and joy, your feed and your life will begin to reflect that. Rosh Hashanah invites us to reset, to reboot, not just our bad habits, but our hearts. To ask, what world am I choosing to live in? What world am I helping to create for others? Change your algorithm, change your life. So as you may have guessed, this discussion has been part of our conversation this week in our family. So noted our daughter Sarah, choosing gratitude and optimism doesn't mean ignoring pain and injustice. It means meeting them with the energy and clarity that makes real change possible and offering others a chance to share in that light. So friends, we can't accomplish everything in a day, or even in a week or 10 days. But hopefully by slowing down from now to Yom Kippur, not only can we create a new algorithm, but return to that kinder, more generous place in our soul. There is an Israeli TV series called Shtetl. Anybody see it? No. That aired on Netflix a few years ago. And it's about a Hasidic family living in Jerusalem. So my brother Ron recently reminded me of a scene where the main character is struggling with how he will find his special person. His mother has just passed away, and Akiva asks his father, Abba, did you and Mom love each other? And his father responds, what a question. He continues, no, Dad, I mean it. How did you know? Did you tell each other? How do you know if Mom loved you? And the father pauses for a moment and then says, every day, your mother would wake up a half hour before me and take out the butter so it would be soft for my toast. And he leaves it at that. Wow. It's a simple story which teaches that maybe love is not so much found in these grand gestures, that maybe it's about the little things that we do for each other, small daily acts of love and kindness. There once was a small town in Russia in the days when everyone owned a big table or floor clock. The town had one repairman who kept these clocks running, a tweak here and a spritz there. One day, the clocksmith announced he was leaving. He was moving to Kiev where he could find more customers. And he left, and over the next few years, one by one, the town's clocks began to seize up. They rusted and they broke down due to neglect, until a new repairman moved to town, and one by one, the townsfolk brought in their clocks, but unfortunately, they were all beyond repair. One day near closing time, a woman walked in through the door with her shiny table clock in hand, and she says, it's making a little bit of noise, but it doesn't work and it doesn't tell time. And by replacing one component, the clock began to tick again. Asked the repairman, how come your clock is working when no one else's is? And she replied, well, even though it was broken, I wound it every day. And I never lost hope that one day someone like you would arrive and my clock would work again. So on Rosh Hashanah, as it has been for thousands of years, we are reminded, Al tishkach et hatikva, as the Israeli song goes, never forget the hope. Keep living with meaning. Never turn your back on kindness. Don't sink low when others are going low around you. Invest in optimism and in hope, and listen to that quiet voice within. Like many of you, this has been a challenging year. Facing the loss of both of my parents, first of all, I want to thank my family, and especially Patty, for being patient with me, and for your courage, and for your support. along with all of you, for your words and gestures of comfort. I am constantly, as you do, remembering things that my parents said. Their traits, little sayings that come up from time to time that I always didn't notice when they were alive. It's one reason why I wear my father's watch. It requires that I wind it every single day. And when I am reminded of his passion for Judaism and for teaching me many of the skills which make it possible to serve you. I also remember my mother, who for many years before her passing would close every conversation with, "Whatever you wish for yourselves, I wish for you." And I think she actively wanted me to remember that wish as part of her legacy and perhaps even share it on Rosh Hashanah with you. So there it is, Mom. What kind of world do we truly wish for? Because we can find it anywhere on there, online, on television, but it exists within us. And for those 3 Rosh Hashanah questions, who, where, and how, our tradition offers these simple answers. Who are we? We are sacred souls. Where are we? In a very challenging world. And how does it work? Life provides options at every turn to go down or to rise up. Online, on television, in the conversations that we initiate, it is our choice which truth we search for. In a world where you can find reinforcement for any opinion or fear that you may have, let us decide what kind of world we want to live in, what is truly in our hearts. Indeed, God does not judge us on this day and for the next 10 as much as we judge ourselves. Who are we? Where are we? And what do we wish to be? May we choose to mirror the good in ourselves and in this world. And let us be inscribed, and let us inscribe ourselves in the algorithm of life for a happy and healthy and sweet new year. Shana Tova, everyone.